Hello, my name is Scott Parker, and I am a lifelong Kiss fan. I've had the idea of doing a video review of the records, and I thought, what better record to start with than the one that probably most people wouldn't start with, and that would be Kiss Unmasked, which celebrates its 40th anniversary today. Now, before I go any further, you might want to know a little bit about me. Lifelong Kiss fan from the 70s, so I'm 51 now, so I got into Kiss in 78 because of Double Platinum, and I think before that would be the comic books. So I was one of those fans that came in after Star Wars. Kiss were superheroes, didn't know anything about their music, but they looked awesome. So, I started listening to them, and I love them. They are my first favorite band of any type. And they are still one of my top 2 favorite bands of all time. I just thoroughly enjoy almost every era. And I was also one of those kids whose parents limited the amount of content and the amount of posters and things from Kiss that I could get. It was the Knights in Satan's Service thing and the devil worshipping part, and that is what they had heard, so they did what parents do, and they said I could only purchase a certain number of records. What I had back in the day was Double Platinum was first. I think Alive or Alive 2 was second, and I think maybe third I had Destroyer. I had the debut record. I had Ace Frehley's solo record. And the last record that I purchased in my youth was Kiss Unmasked. Again, this would be May of 1980, May 20th of 1980. This would be the last record that I purchased in my initial phase of Kiss fandom. I am pretty confident that I did not go day of and buy this thing. I honestly can't remember when I purchased the record or whatnot, but I'm an only child, so I had no older brother or sister to talk to me about styles of music and types of music and that kind of thing. So I pretty much had to discover all this stuff on my own. And after, 40 years of listening to this music, I can hear the difference between, say, Unmasked and Dynasty and the stuff that came before. The thing was, back in 1980, I'm graduating from 5th grade. I am in the throes of The Empire Strikes Back, which is coming out a day after Unmasked was released. I didn't hear anything. I didn't cognitively realize that the music had changed. All I knew at the time was that Kiss had made a new record, and I liked just about every song. It's true, I did. I loved Unmasked. Now, a little bit more about my history. Soon after Unmasked, I did have a falling out, maybe. I didn't get Elder, didn't get Creatures. I didn't purchase Lick It Up, but I was very much aware of Lick It Up when it came out. And I had a cassette copy of it that a friend of mine made. And I remember at the time, this would be 3 years after Unmasked, that the sound of the band had really changed. Of course, by that point in '83, Def Leppard's on my radar, Journey's on my radar, so actual, rock and pop music, I knew what to listen for, and I just realized that Kiss itself, then in '83, was harder edged than they had ever been before, since even, Destroyer days or Kiss Alive days. But anyway, back to Unmasked. Bought the record in 1980, had the poster on my wall, and when I cleaned out a family piece of property with an old trailer that had a bunch of my stuff from my growing up house, I actually found my Kiss Unmasked poster, which, if you look at the CD version, it is, of course, this guy. So that would be what's the guy's name again? Victor Straven. Yeah, so I had this poster on my wall back in 1980, and I currently have it in my garage right now. I'll post a picture right here so you can see it. The music of Unmasked. So it's definitely the pop influence stuff. It's 11 songs, and it's 2 sides back in the day. And as we all know now, Peter Criss is not there. Anton Fig is playing drums. And oddly enough, the 1997 reissues, which is what this is, doesn't list Anton Fig or anybody else that might have played on the record. It just lists the 4 musicians that we know. Of course, Peter Criss was not even on there. The songs on Unmasked. So let me pause right there to say that when I had my going a different way years, through much of the makeup years, I was peripherally aware of Kiss throughout the 80s as they would come out with Tears Are Falling and Heaven's on Fire and then Crazy Crazy Nights and then of course Forever. I was always like, oh yeah, that was my first favorite band, but I never purchased the record. I got back into Kiss full time and with Revenge, and I've never looked back since. And I've gone back and bought every album now. But what's interesting is when in 1997, when all these reissues came out, I went through and bought every single one of them. So I now have my complete Kiss collection. That would be the 97 remasters. And I started with the ones that I didn't own back in the day. But of course I bought Alive. I still had Alive from the 80s. That was and still remains my favorite Kiss record of all time. And it is one of my top 10 Desert Island CDs of all time. I happily would spend, the rest of my life on Desert Island with at least Kiss Alive in my collection. But when you come back around to listening to the things that you didn't know the first time through, and you start to listen to the stuff that you had back in the day, I made a couple of realizations. One of which was the fact that this record was a darn good record in 1980, and it remains a darn good record in my mind. When I listened to this back in 97, going, there's a reason these songs are so good. They're good, honest-to-goodness pop songs. Sure, they're not Creatures, they're not Cold Gin, they're not Parasite, they're not Take Me. They're not those songs. Kiss in 79 and 80 decided to try pop rock, or I guess pop-inflected rock. We're not quite to pop metal yet, but they tried to go to a mainstream pop sound. And with, I Was Made for Loving You and Sure Knows Something and the songs off this record, they did well at what they tried to do. And I consistently and thoroughly enjoy this record throughout the years. Is That You? So that's track 1, kicks off the record. And I have to say to my 5th grade self, when he name drops the word bitch, my 5th grade self was like, oh, he said bitch. And so, again, I was not the kind of guy, I was not the young person who figured out that every time Gene said love, you know what he's talking about. I didn't pick that up. I got the pocket and the rocket thing, but I didn't get larger than life and all the love comments. So when he says bitch, I'm like, oh my goodness, he said a bad word on record. It's a good tune. I didn't catch, in fact, I didn't even catch what Sleeping Around was on that song, but that's what you get when you're a 5th grader. Chandi, one of my favorite Paul Stanley songs of all time. It is exactly what it is, which is a 1979/80 perfect pop song. When I say 79/80, most of the times these days, I'm a history major, and that's what I've been trained to do, is be a historian. Decades are never cut and dry. It's never January 1st. It's always a bleed over moment. So things that came out in early 1980 were still heavily influenced by the music of 1979. So when you have a song called Chandi and this way it sounds, I absolutely love this song. Still do, did back in the day. And in fact, it is probably one of the reasons why I ended up liking my other favorite band, which is Chicago. And don't forget, in Chicago in the 80s, ballads were king. I have since learned that the original band was fantastic, and that is my preferred period. But in 1980, Chandi was the stepping stone to other ballads that I have consistently loved to this day. So Chandi, absolutely love this song. Talk to Me, yes, it's cheesy, but come on, it's Ace Frehley just writing a kick-butt Ace Frehley song, and there's just about nothing wrong with that song. Love, for me, first 3 tracks are 3 for 3, although Is That You is my, there's no least favorites on this record. There's actually one least favorite. We haven't got to that yet, but Naked City. Top 5 Gene Simmons song for me. Love the bass playing. It is the thing that I still play bass on in the car when I'm driving, whether I'm on the steering wheel or on the gear shift. I don't know what it is about that song that I love so much. I like the fact that he sings, because he's not trying to be the demon or whatever. He just actually sings. The bass line, the imagery, even as a kid, I wasn't quite sure what he's talking about, but, street vampires in the night, come on, that's pretty awesome. So, to me, Naked City, top 5 Gene Simmons song of all time in my book. That's one of my things. And then side 1 rounds out with What Makes the World Go Round. Good song, and it's a fun way to end up side 1. If you have to have a weak link on side 1, this would probably be it. But again, I just listened to this yesterday, and listening to these tunes again, and all these songs are in regular rotation on I have an MP3 that has Kiss throughout the entire years, and so there is half of this album is on that MP3, and it's like 120 songs I can fit on a CD, and it goes all the way from the debut all the way up through Monster, and I mean there's half of this record is on that compilation consistently. This one's not, but it doesn't mean it's a bad song. It's just one that, when you have an album full of good tunes, sometimes the medium songs, just don't rise to the occasion. Tomorrow. If I had to guess, I would put this definitely top 10 Paul Stanley song of all time. It is a pop song perfection. It is so good. I always sing it. It's one of the few songs that I can sing on my own. I'm not going to do it now. But Tomorrow, it's just, even with all the little corny hand claps and stuff, it is a song that I just truly love and listen to frequently. And it's, again, proof, Paul Stanley co-wrote it with Vincent Poncia, and it's proof, again, that, Kiss started off wanting to be the Beatles on steroids. And Beatles wrote some darn good pop songs. Kiss, on Unmasked, wrote some darn good pop songs. And if you had to pick one pop song that you would want, that you could easily play on the radio, Tomorrow was probably it. Chandi is the obvious one, with being the ballad, but it makes you wonder what would have happened if Tomorrow may have been the second single of the record. I know the whole 1980 original fans were moving away, and the kid fans were not that excited, but Tomorrow stands up tried and true throughout the years. It still does. Two sides of the coin. Back to Ace. Again, this is, if you've listened to the Pod of Thunder podcast, where they reviewed every single Kiss song, studio song from the entire catalog, you'll know that. Am I getting the song right? Where they actually name drop, choose one. Yeah, that's right. It is this one. But I'm kind of rambling now, but I guess. But anyway, two sides of the coin. Again, at this stage of Ace's career, now granted, I did not follow Ace's career through the 80s, but I did pick it up with Space Invader, which I thought is a terrific record. Ace Frehley, at this stage of his career, with his solo album songs, the Rocket Ride, Shock Me, the three tunes from Dynasty, and these three songs on Unmasked, he is nailing it. And he is writing some darn good songs that are just well-crafted pop songs. And he's got a little bit of his Ace-isms throughout every one of these tunes that he writes, and this is definitely one of them. She's So European. Back in the day, now you'll have to, you watching this will know the answer if you're a diehard fan, but I cannot remember if the original album sleeve had the lyrics or not. But I remember wondering, Saint Tropez, I had to go look that up, going, what is he talking about? But anyway, again, it's a Gene tune, and if you listen to half of Gene's solo record from '78, and I'm talking about Mr. Make Believe and like Radioactive. It's the Gene Simmons who was the Beatles fan. That's this. She's So European is in that vein to me. Just very much like Ladies' Room, and very much like Yes, I Know, Nobody's Perfect from Sonic Boom. There's a through line to the type of pop song that Gene writes. Gene writes some good rock songs. I mean, Within from Psycho Circus is fantastic. Unholy, of course. And Thou Shalt Not from Revenge also. And of course, Satan's Sinner. So he writes some great rock songs. But when Gene Simmons wants to write a pop song, this is a song, She's So European, that proves he knows what he's talking about when he's writing this song. Easy as it seems. This is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth song in which Paul and Vincent write a song together. And Easy as it seems, again, perfect slice of Kiss popdom. The beauty of having a breadth of records like Kiss has, which from from 73 all the way up to Monster, is that depending on the mood you're in, there's a Kiss album that will fit your mood. And if you're in a pop song mood, there is no better record in Kiss's catalog to me than Unmasked. And Easy as it seems is one of those songs that you just like. You talk about it sounds so effortless. Is it easy as it seems? And again, heard this record just yesterday, and I am just walking around with my headphones in, washing the dishes and folding the laundry, and just bebopping the entire time. Nothing wrong with the tune. Torpedo Girl. Well, it's corny, yes. It's cheesy, also yes. The opening sound effect thing, I suspect that my fifth grade self probably liked it. The 51-year-old was like, whatever. But gotta say, that bass riff, which I believe, if I remember something somewhere, Ace played himself. But of course, back in the day, I always think of Gene himself playing. But boom ba doodle doodle boop boop wah boom ba doo ba doo boom ba doom. Oh, I sang. My bad. We're supposed to sing. What are you gonna do? It's Kiss. But Torpedo Girl, lyrics aside, fun song. I guess that's the code for this entire record, is fun. I mean, the darkest song is Naked City, and even that is it's a really good piece of pop music. But Torpedo Girl, it's got a great riff, great groove, and again, when Anton does the drum breaks on that song, it's I mean, these four musicians, it's four. It's Paul, Gene, Anton, and I guess whoever was playing guitar on these various songs. If it wasn't Ace. These dudes know how to write music. They know how to write great pop songs. And this, again, Torpedo Girl is one of them. You're All That I Want. If there's a weak song on the whole record that it's not my favorite, it's still good. This would be the one I would pick. What really sends this one home is the Paul Gene duet part, especially at the end. One of my favorite things in all of Kiss songs is when Paul does the high voice. He does it on A Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll. He does it on You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. And he does it on the end of Spit, where he'll just sing his higher voice to go along with Gene or Ace as they sing their normal range. Paul is up higher, and this is one of those first signs you can see where Paul Stanley clearly had voice lessons between Unmasked and Creature of the Night, because how else do you get I Still Love You and some of those 80s songs without voice lessons? So this is definitely one of those pre-voice lesson Paul tracks, at least at the end. But again, I'm a sucker for a double vocal on just about any song, and I can't think of one right now that I don't like that has more than one vocal. I mean, as far as what's the last song on The Elder? That one's great. Heck, I even like Monsters. What's the song? I can't think of the song right now. On Monster, where they talk about flag rising and elevator, and yeah, you're gonna know it. That's the one. That's the end of Unmasked. So this is ironically the first of these. I plan to do every Kiss record in a video review format. This is about 20 minutes, and I think that's probably good. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this. Right now I have no other Kiss content for you to like or subscribe, but if you like Star Wars, there is other content here, and if you're a writer, you'll see that I have other writing things available to you. But Unmasked, 40 years old today. 40 years old since Unmasked. It's also 40 years since the last time, my last initial Kiss purchase. And I've got to say, I should have done this ahead of time, but if I were to rank my favorite Kiss records, I mean, it's like Alive 2, that's always in there. I love Sonic Boom. I do like Rock and Roll Over, which is one I bought as an adult, and I also like Hotter Than Hell, which is one I bought as an adult. But push come to shove, if you were to force me to name the top 5 records, Kiss records that I could spend forever with, Unmasked would be on that list. It's, in my book, that good, because it is what it is. It is a wonderful Kiss pop record. I would love to hear your comments, good, bad, indifferent, especially perhaps if you maybe liked it as a kid and you grew up and you think of it differently, or maybe you didn't like it as a kid and you grew up and learned to what it is. I'd love to have your comments. Leave your comments in the feedback, and if you have a link to maybe a blog or a video that you've also done about Unmasked, just leave it in the comments, and I would love to go take a look at it. So this will be the last. This is the first of more Kiss content coming, but until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't spun Unmasked in a long time, do it today. Thank you.